Hey everyone, welcome to the 8th Optimism Fractal meeting. I'm here with optimists and friends Tadas and Nuno and Marc and Jason and BitBeckers and Rosemary and Alex and Hodlon. We were just hearing a bit from Marc and Alex, welcome. Some newcomers to the Optimism Fractal. Thanks for joining. Hope everybody is having a great day. Thanks for being here and thanks for watching. We're going to share a little introductory presentation to Optimism Fractal and the Respect game that we'll be playing today, as well as recent meetings, and then we'll be going into our breakout rooms to play the Respect game shortly. So if anyone wants to wave or say a quick hello, feel free. I will also just jump into the presentation now, I suppose. All right, so you can learn about Optimism Fractal at optimismfractal.com. Basically, Optimism Fractal is a community dedicated to fostering collaboration and awarding public goods creators in the Optimism Collective. So we're growing optimism with communities and events and games and videos and tools. You can learn about how these events are a great place to meet optimists and talented builders and innovators and creators. And you can also learn about how we play the Respect game every week, which is a game where people can earn a soulbound token called Respect for helping out the Optimism Collective. It's really cool. I'll go into a bit more detail shortly. And that's the main thing that we're going to do today. It's also a great place to promote your work since we publish these videos each week and everybody gets a chance to speak and share what they've been doing. And so yeah, basically you can read more on the website about how this is a great place to grow optimism and all the benefits of it, and as well as the tools that we use on the OP Fractal, or on the OP mainnet, I should say, on the Optimism stack. You can check out lou.ma/optimismfractal to see the event, and I encourage you to invite friends. Thanks everybody who's invited friends so far. For some reason, the links aren't working right now, but if you hit register, then you can find the Zoom link, and I'll fix those links as well. So you can join the events each week. We have them every Monday at 17 UTC, and we're going to be having one more event this year on next Monday, and then we're going to be taking a 2-week break as well, and then coming back for the new year. You can check out Optimystics_ to see weekly tweets and updates from the Optimystics, which is the team that launched Optimism Fractal. And that is myself and Rosemary and Tadas and another developer named Vlad. And you can check out the links there, as well as Optimism Fractal on Twitter, soon to be coming on Farcaster as well. And also on the governance forum, gov.optimism.io, you can see weekly reminders and posts about each of the events that are coming up. So, in addition, you can watch all our previous episodes on optimismfractal.com/media or optimistics.io/videos. You can see, for example, our 6th episode, Public Goods Games, where we also had the Retro PGF pitch games too. Several other people here and participate in that. So thanks everybody so much for participating in the Retro pitch games, as well as all the previous Optimism Fractal meetings. You can also check out the show notes for each meeting too. So we have timestamps, so you can watch out and check out all the cool stuff that's been going on and find your contributions or find other people's contributions as well, and scan around to see the cool things, as well as some stories that happen every week. So I encourage you to check out that, as well as on the Optimistics YouTube channel and the Eden Fractal YouTube channel, where you can find a lot of related shows. If anybody's not familiar with Optimism, you can go to optimism.io. It's a L2 blockchain that works with Ethereum, and it scales up the future of Web3. And there's many great benefits of Optimism. Also, app.optimism.io, you can learn more about the Optimism Collective and how it's focused on rewarding public goods and building a sustainable future for Ethereum and the open internet. And we also have some blog articles on optimistics.io/blog, where you can learn more. We also have a video introducing Optimism Collective as well that I recommend to check out for more details. But I think everybody knows about Optimism here, so we're going to go into the Respect game shortly. And real quick, I would also just like to say a big thanks to the citizens and everybody who participated in the Retro PGF for reviewing our application and supporting our application in the 3rd round of Retro PGF. Really very much appreciated. Our team worked really hard, and we really appreciate the support, and it enables us to keep building with Optimism Fractal and do all of the great things we're doing to help grow optimism as much as possible. You can also see Rosemary put out a nice tweet here, and we're very much looking forward to what is coming next. You can check out more of our work at optimistics.io. That has a lot of details about the Optimism Fractal. But with that, we will get into the Respect game. You can learn about this at optimismfractal.com/details. And this has kind of a more technical intent, where you can learn about the key links that we use, such as the apps that we use, like Fractogram and the web app. And then also about the meetings every week that last for about 45 minutes, and as well as the Respect game too. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to split up into 2 breakout rooms. I think we have 9 people here. So we're going to go into 2 breakout rooms. One will have 4 people, and one will have 5 people. And each person will be given up to 4 minutes to present their contributions. They'll basically share, what did you do to help optimism in the past week? Also, feel free, if it's your first time here or you're going to know people, just to introduce yourself and share what you're working on generally. Even if you're fairly new to optimism, just share what you're up to. And then after everybody has their time to present, everybody has a bit of time to ask each other questions to help reach consensus, and then we're going to work to reach consensus on the ranking contributions. So we're going to see who helped optimism the most, and then they'll get level 6. But the trick is that, or the challenge is that we have to come to 4 to 6 consensus, or 66% consensus. So we'll work together to do that. And then at the end, within 2 hours from the start of the meeting, we'll all signal it on chain using the app that I'll show you in a moment. And then if for every group that reaches consensus about level 6 and 5 and 4 and so forth, people will get respect, and people will get the more of the soulbound respect token, depending on what level they get. You can learn more about the tools that we use at optimistics.io/tools, where you have a video walkthrough of these tools, as well as several articles with more details and more details with the respect game. And there's also an article here, optimistics.io/respect game, where you can learn more about this game, as well as see some tutorials and a breakdown of how to play the respect game too. So that's basically it. Feel free, if you're new here, thanks so much for joining. We really appreciate you being here. And feel free to ask anybody in your breakout room exactly how it works if you have any questions. And I'm sure many people here will be happy to help out. With that, I think that we're ready to go into the breakout room. So, and I just see Rosemary just shared to clarify, the meeting lasts for an hour, and the on-chain voting should happen within 2 hours from the start of the meeting. So thank you very much, Rosemary, for that clarification. And I'll start out with or I'll open the breakout rooms now, and hope that everybody has an awesome time in your breakout rooms.
How do we get over to the breakout rooms?
I just opened them just now, so you should see like a little message coming up in the middle of Zoom saying join breakout room.
Hello again.
Hey.
Optimistics.
Was that about Optimistics?
It's a cool name, cool name. Just Optimistics. It's so nice.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Glad you like it. Yeah, I like it too. Has some mystical vibes to it, connection with the universe and nature, and being optimistical about it.
Then your headphones look like they are on fire.
Yeah,
Oh.
I just realized that the Zoom thing messed up. I don't know if it was like that the whole time, and I just didn't realize it. But I went to change my background, and there's like a setting for a green screen that I had off, so it was making my background all blue and red and stuff like that. Maybe it was a cool fashion statement. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Cool, thanks. All right, well, does anybody want to kick us off and go first, share what you've been up to help grow optimism?
I can go. I will be short. On this particular week, I didn't have much time to spend on optimism, although I did have one meeting with Nuno where we discussed him potentially using these tools to create another fractal for his community that he works with. Nuno can maybe talk more about it. Yeah, and there we discussed like some priority improvements to the stack that we're using. Specifically, we need to automate the distribution of respect. I think this is key, because until we do this, it will be really hard for others to teach others how to use these tools. It's currently the hardest part. Yeah, so I started thinking about how to do that, and planning work on this, and this week I'm planning to work on this specific issue. Also thinking about how Optimism Fractal will work after Bootstrap phase is done. So Bootstrap phase is first 12 weeks of Optimism Fractal meetings, in which Optimism Fractal has a consensus process where a council of 6 people is able to make decisions with 4 out of 6 consensus. And currently, us 4 from Optimistics team are in the council, but after 12 weeks, top 6 contributors will be in the council. So we will need to transfer control somehow. Yeah, so thinking about ways to do that properly. Yeah, that's it from me this week. .
Cool. Thank you very much, Das. Would you like to pass on to somebody else?
No, you can maybe expand on.
Yeah, I can follow on. I'll try to make use of my 4 minutes. Yeah, this week I've been sick, so I couldn't work very much. Anyhow, can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay. So anyhow, my perspective here is a little bit in the sense that Chile Banks is a community already, but they are not using any tooling at the moment. They are not using any Web3 tooling. So I've been thinking of, together with the DAO Sember, so I've been learning a lot from DAO Sember. I've been thinking on how to use the respect game together with the hats protocol, and on top of maybe the snapshot, how to use all of this DAO tooling to pick this community which already exists and onboard them to the DAO space. I think most of the times what happens today is the opposite. We begin by the tools and then we start to onboard people. I'm trying to do the opposite. So it was very interesting conversation with Tadas to see how this could be done eventually. We even draw a roadmap, maybe February, March next year. We are ready to deploy the respect game on this community. So I guess this is my contribution, I suppose. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe I could have been more clear, but yeah, that's it.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Nuno. Both you and Tadas went pretty quick. If you did want to share anything more for the next 2 minutes or so, then feel free. The stage is yours. If not, you can pick somebody to go next.
Yeah, I wanted to use 4 minutes, but yeah, I guess not. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, would you like to pick somebody next to go next? I thought Jason was raising his hand too. I don't know if Jason, you had something you want to jump in with there. Okay.
No.
Cool. So yeah, I think generally the way it works most efficiently is if whoever goes, they pick the person to go next. We don't have to. Somebody wants to jump in, but if you want to just go and nominate somebody to go next, then
I challenge the BitBeckers to my right.
all right.
Oh, it's a challenge.
The challenge is on.
Nice. Let's see. I think my updates are mostly a continuation from last week's. So December is running, but I'm not doing anything active in there right now because I'm just busy with other things. Hypercerts, which basically is on Optimism, had a very successful funding the commons in Taiwan, which was in Taipei, sorry, which was apparently very successful in the matter that the guy from the foundation actually went there and he said everything would have happened without me being there. So that was really cool, and did a lot of onboarding games and other things, bring people on board into the Hypercert ecosystem. The conversations on building this tripartite marketplace where we try to connect people looking for funding with builders and funders in a more simple flow, where there's also, let's say, a revenue kickback to the funders, is something that we've now committed to working on as a few hours a week to just see if we can just wire some things together, and that group is growing, so that's pretty fun. I'm just messing with tooling, trying to get funds out of a safe and doing some grant rounds, but it's just Web3 stuff. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna spend, I think, the last weeks of this year just wrapping up all the loose ends and commitments that I didn't follow up on. Yeah, so that was me.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, BitBeckers. As I said before too, if you wanted to add anything more, the stage is all yours for the next 2 minutes if you want to add on, or if you want to pick somebody to go next, then you can feel free to do so whenever you're ready.
Yeah, Dan, I forgot that you also should be speaking, like sharing. So go ahead.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, again. All right, so I'll share my screen now and pull up typing by myself. Oops. Okay, so it's been I've been resting a bit more for the past few days, which has been nice after like a really hectic past couple weeks and past couple months with the whole Retro PGF that we were doing. I think I showed this last week. I made this article, optimistics.io/retro pitches, but this is one of the things that I worked on a lot early last week and getting this article out. And then also for each of the retro pitch sessions, we did 3 of them in the season. We produced videos. So I provided a lot of feedback and helped out with thumbnail for this, as well as the writing. I work closely with Rosemary on this, and then published that. And then I've also been working on, I drafted this tweet out and shared it and tagged a bunch of people to see all the presentations during the retro pitch season, as well as hosting it last week as well too. So that was a really good session. And then I'm working on another post too, which kind of like a retrospective on retro pitches. I'm planning on publishing this in the governance forum where it explains how it worked. Like basically there was 12 retro PGF applicants who pitched their projects and 19 participants who played as judges and 30 attendees, and then write a little bit more, as well as thanking everybody for joining. So that's something that's in draft and I'm going to be sharing soon, as well as I don't know, I think I worked on this a lot over the past week, although it's a bit blurry about when exactly I worked on it, but worked on this article exploring retro pitches where we I'm like kind of curating what we did for this season, as well as what we did for previous seasons or previous work, because we have another community called Eden Fractal where we kind of like pioneered this idea of pitch games in addition to the Respect Game 2, and how in the future we aim to combine this with the Respect Game 2. So like I have an app that I've been kind of developing. It's kind of more just like an idea at this point called Signals, where people can vote with respect scores at retro pitches game. So I put together some articles about how we could use respect points to help vote for like Retro PGF pitches and stuff like that. And along with the DOS, I've been thinking about ways to iterate in future seasons of Optimism Fractal and Retro PGF to help people earn like awards that more directly help them and help people understand how they can benefit by joining Optimism Fractal events. And then that could work with Retro PGF pitches. So yeah, I put that out there. I also responded to some people who joined the meetings from last week and worked on that. I've been thinking a lot about making mission requests. So I joined the L2Beat Office Hours that Christoph and Sinkas host every Tuesday at 15 UTC. I encourage everyone to join these. They're a great opportunity to meet with some top builders and delegates in the ecosystem. And so we had a great discussion about the Retro PGF round. He also encouraged me to submit a mission request. So I've been thinking about that, as well as I usually host a meeting with the Optimystics team each week where we discuss a bunch of different topics. So we didn't do it yet this week, but I put together an agenda. So when we discuss it with just like stuff that we're working on with Optimism Fractal, as well as other optimistic stuff. So I've been working on those mission requests and joining those meetings. I also joined the delegate call too that Michael hosts, and that was about missions. So I encourage people to join those. It was really helpful. And I just shared a message promoting the L2Beat Office Hours there. I put out this tweet for Optimism Fractal. And then I also, and I provide feedback on the artwork that Rosemary created. And I also put out this message for the Jolly Respect game, having some fun on the governance forum post. I also provided some feedback yesterday on Tadas's article for higher order fractals. I've been meaning to read this for a while, but finally had the chance to get into it more deeply since the Retro PGF season was over. And so I had some ideas about maybe having like a live stream, higher order fractal that I can go into more later, but I kind of made some comparisons with like baseball and basketball where fractals could compete in like this big live stream fun event. And then I also reached out to Griff Green, who made a list in Retro PGF and put Optimistics at the top for DAO, refi, and DAO tooling. So I thanked him and then also shared a little bit of pairwise where he made for that tweet. I'm just done here. So I've also been reading a lot about Retro PGF and kind of just like chilling and reading about a lot of stuff and also retweeting fellow team members. And then I also participated in Aquadac. Gudasol has joined several times and he makes videos where I talked a little about optimism and what we've been doing here. And then I watched some optimism videos from the recent on-chain summit. Lastly, I also promoted optimism at the Eden Fractal meeting as well. And invite people to join. And that's the event that we host every Wednesday. So that is that. And with that, I can pass it on to Jason.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, earlier when I put my hand up to say, I was just signaling like that I am ready and it wouldn't be like taken by surprise, but at the same time, like happy to just like let it get around the table too. So um, just to break the ice with I guess my work is still the same as it was, right? The main work that I do in this industry is exploratory education through my meetup, Crypt Oasis. And in that, we explore all of the consensus mechanisms. We compare them, and the guests always have their expertise that I invite them to teach, right? So it's horizontalism, sort of structurally speaking, um, as an educational method, as an educational modality. And I think of that as a public service. And I think of ways that I use the technologies of trustlessness, of decentralized ledger technology, and integrate that to make it a break even or a monetized or profit seeking proposition. Although now that we're playing the respect game, we're interlacing fractally respect game with it. My mind has gone to some other sort of comparatives, like the way with AI, to use it, the discipline that gets applied, or I guess the lesson that gets taught, is about prompt engineering, because you have to be very mindful of the way that the AI interprets the words and the order of the words used when given a prompt. And so it's like it would be nice to think that you could speak to AI and give it an instruction that it will understand, just as though it's plain speaking with all of your slang and everything with it. But the fact is, AI has a dictionary that it interprets very rigidly, and it doesn't understand slang, for example, right? And I think that lends itself conceptually to fractally, to the question that gets asked at the top of the game, right? Who contributed the most? I think that's a good place to start for us to break ground and get familiarized with how this game, how the fractally method is meant to work. And that in the end, we come to the same understanding as each other. That's the real point, right? And that fractally it provides a structure through which people necessarily come to the same understanding as each other. And the game theory of it is very simple in that either we agree or nobody gets anything. I've been in so many negotiations like that where, and the other way too, where sometimes you're in a negotiation with a counterparty where for some reason or other, it's just your advantage to make no understanding, just to make no deal and just kick the can down the road or something, right? Because you still have what you have, right? As long as there's no decision. But with fractally, then nobody gets anything unless there's an agreement, right? If you've been in those types of negotiations, you understand that the bargaining position is different for everybody, right? So I think that's a very powerful thing. And I think merging these concepts together is the most powerful thing. And the idea of optimism being to apply our creative capacities to identify public goods that are profitable, public goods that are legitimate public goods that break even based on a revenue model that is sustainable, at least, right? And so where my mind is going with this is to an idea for peace DAO, where the idea is for the public good of public safety, where the idea is to make peace work more profitable than arms sales in a one-to-one way. And that specifically the peace work is the forgiveness that is necessary, the conversations and the discussion that is necessary between people and between organizations and between regions and between nations and whatever labels apply. They need to go through a fractally process. They need to be forced to reconcile. Otherwise, they all get nothing. And we'll monetize that entertainment product wise. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you very much, Jason. Well said. Great to hear from everybody's contributions, or great to hear from everybody about all the awesome contributions. Really appreciate it. I suppose we can get started with, oh, it looks like BitBeckers shared a little summary too. I remember BitBeckers, you're saying you could do that in future weeks too. So thanks so much for sharing that in the chat. That's super helpful to the summary of what each person's contribution was here, I think. If you'd like to elaborate on that, then feel free to jump in. Also, now's a good time if anybody has any questions or comments for anybody related to the contributions. That would be helpful for reaching consensus to share. And in the meantime, either me or Tadas will get the Fractogram app going on too. That's the first time that anybody's ever written a summary live like that, and that's very helpful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Without AI. Last week somebody asked, "Are you using AI?" That's the first response.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, it makes it. I usually do it myself, but I have much sparser notes than that compared to it. So, and the fact that you share it with everybody, that's like a really helpful service in general. That's a great thing for all fractals to have in the future. By the way, Tadas, are you setting up the Fractogram or should I?
Yes, I'm setting it up.
Okay, cool.
Oh my God. Say it.
Well, what was BitBeckers the moving to POC for RPGF marketplace? I don't remember you mentioning that.
It's a long story. I think the one phrase summary would be Kickstarter with shareholders with rage quit.
You said Kickstarter with shareholders with what?
Shareholders with rage quit. So basically you fund into a DAO where you can draw your funds from when you don't like the direction the project is taking, when they withdraw funds.
Interesting. Cool. Thanks for elaborating. If anybody has any questions for anybody, feel free as well too. But we want to make sure that we have time to come to consensus, but we did that all pretty quick, so we can have some unstructured conversation too if anyone wants to share some thoughts.
Yeah, I shared a Telegram link in the chat where we should reach consensus.
Okay.
And I have a question for Jason. Jason, do you hear me?
Yep, I'm still on.
Yeah, so you said you produce educational content about consensus mechanisms, as I understood.
Yes.
That those are like blockchain consensus mechanisms.
Yes.
Okay, it's interesting because sometimes we started calling fractal these social consensus mechanisms based on respect consensus mechanisms as well, like where people reach consensus.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I started the meetup about 5 years ago when the EOS mainnet was launching to help people understand delegated proof of stake, right? Because we got carbon neutral, like certified as a block producer, right, for the EOS mainnet, and that people needed to understand all like web of trust. People needed to understand proof of work and how there's a lot of confusion about what's the point of proof of work and stuff, right? And why trustlessness and how do we understand decentralization? So I invite people to teach. I believe the theory of it for my meetup is that the teacher learns the most because the teacher has to figure out how to explain everything, right, when challenged. So you always are sharpening. Iron sharpens iron. You're always sharpening your own understanding by being the teacher. And it's been a wonderful mixer of ideas and everything like that that I've experienced with that with the meetup. So it's not so much that I produce content; it's that I host the process. I invite people to live gatherings.
Cool.
Yep.
Do you have some kind of link, or how is it called? Crypto oasis?
I'll share the link. Hang on.
Okay.
Can I ask a more general process question on this? Sorry.
Yeah.
So what happens with the because I've been looking at my account and I don't see any. Basically, I don't see any transactions except for one fractal. Oh, I got OPF.
Yes.
That's payout token.
That's the respect token. And one there is still one distribution missing from one of the meetings. So I plan to do it soon.
Yeah, I was just curious because I'm working on this, which is like a commitment staking protocol. But we also do like peer reviews at the end, like hard coded right now, but I want to explore different mechanics. And I like this meeting flow, because this is how you always want to end a project, right? Just saying, hey, how do you think we did? And then you can, in our case, the token will be Fux, but you could also do it with OPF or something else. So I'm just, if you ever have stack or tech to share, I'm really curious.
Yeah, I can share a GitHub link where all of our code is which we use here.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that too. There's been a couple interesting links. So Jason shared cryptooasis.net and BitBecker shared Fux.gg, and that's spelled F-U-X, and looks very interesting. So thanks for sharing. And then Tadas also shared the GitHub/Optimystics, and I'll also put in optimistics.io/tools in there, which has some more details of the tools. And also, Jason, if you could enter your Optimism account in the Fractogram and the Telegram app, then we'll be ready to start reaching consensus there. I think everybody's started so far.
Sorry, I feel the need to correct. Everyone always says crypto oasis.
Oh, it's not?
Right? But no, it's just crypt.
Crypt oasis.
It's just crypt.
Oh, okay. And
yes.
You said the word crypt is for the root of encryption.
Yes. The idea is that it's a full education approach. It's a broader based education approach to encryption as an entirety, right? And that we don't take it for granted that we have the right to encrypt. Legally speaking, we consider it a human right to have privacy. Most of the nations in the world do not allow their citizens to use strong encryption. It's a fact. It's always been the case, and we shouldn't take it for granted anywhere. So we need to educate people about encryption technology, so the lid is off the cage and you can't put the dragon back in the cage in the first place. But also, so people understand human rights entirely and how it's about encryption. Cryptocurrency is barely even one important application, barely, but it's like the top of the funnel, right? Crypto is the top of the funnel, but what they find is crypt proper. It's bigger.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for the clarification on crypto oasis. And as you said, the creation and exploration of mysterious, secret, private, eternal, etc. The oasis of crypt. So fascinating. Thank you very much, Jason. And whenever you're ready to add it to the Factogram, then we can start reaching consensus too. Jason, are you doing the Factogram?
Yes, I'm just getting my Ethereum public key ready.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
May I just say that it's hard sometimes to because I respect everybody here and everybody's work. You guys all have my whole respect. I'll try not to be personal in my opinions, in my voting. And yeah, that's it. I want to say before we start the voting.
Yeah, likewise, Nuno. That's part of the fun of it. And one of the good things that everybody gets respect for reaching consensus. So I have a lot of respect for all of you too, and really appreciate everything that you're all doing. And we'll see how it goes. Also, a quick note, Nuno, I've also been looking into Hats Protocol too a lot, and they have a cool meetup coming up. They have like a big demo day coming up on this Thursday, I think, that I'm interested in checking out. So maybe after reaching consensus, we could talk a little bit about that. All right, and I see Tadas just shared the poll for who should be ranked as level 6. So everybody can now answer that poll to answer who they think has done the most optimism recently.
Then it's our 8th meeting, right?
Yes, this is the 8th meeting. Yep, that's correct.
Okay. Okay, so far I see only me and BitBeckers voted. Dan just voted. And yeah, 4 people voted on Dan, so Dan gets level 6.
Okay, cool. Thanks everybody, I appreciate it. So far there's 4 votes in for 5. And we haven't yet received a vote from, I think, BitBeckers. Okay, and it looks like there's 4 to 5 consensus for Tadas now.
Thanks everyone. Did not expect to get level 5 this week, but I think not going to argue against myself.
I think for one thing too, you weren't here last week too, so there's also some respect for what you did previously too.
Yeah, right. We think we finished the enhancing Retro PGF article.
Yeah. And that was really helpful. Okay, cool. So we can go on to level 4 now. All right, and so now it looks like there is not yet consensus. So there's 1 vote for Jason from Nuno. There's 1 vote for Nuno from BitBeckers, and there's 3 votes for BitBeckers from Jason, Tadas, and me. Does anyone want to advocate either way, or
I can do the utility voting.
You say utility voting?
I just want to provide my perspective. From my perspective, Jason is doing very useful work, but BitBeckers' work, it seems to me, is more oriented towards optimism. At least I don't currently see how Jason's work relates directly to optimism. I think it's valuable work that we should rank here, but it's, yes. I think we should maybe rank work that it's more direct contributions to optimism more.
I agree with that. Like after we do a voting round, we usually have a discussion about why we voted for who and why. Sorry, I just had a phone call coming in, and I just had to send it to voicemail. But I'll get back to them. Right. The reason I voted for BitBeckers in this round instead of for Nuno or for myself was, again, because I believe the delivery is more important than the vision in so many ways. And that's why I voted for Dan. That's why I voted for Tadas. It's the same reason I voted for BitBeckers, is because the presentation talked about a specific progress and a specific technical progress, right? An advancement of the technology that everybody uses, and that it always starts with an idea, and it always starts with dealing with people, with an engagement, with an onboarding, right? But at the same time, I was rewarding the progress on the technical merit, which was my reason for this. I think that, like as Nuno said, I respect everybody. All the parts are important. But for this round, I was just wanted to be consistent.
Cool. Well, thanks for explaining, Jason. And yeah, just to comment on that briefly, I do see how what Jason's doing is directly helping optimism. He's promoting and helping people understand optimism as well as general cryptography and cryptocurrency and Web3 at the events, which is great. And then also at these events, that's also direct contribution. But yeah, I also voted for BitBeckers here too, because well, I several different reasons, but I mean, you're building and you're interested in building with the tools, and you're working with a lot of organizations that I really greatly respect. Like, for example, Hypercerts. I've been following the work of Hypercerts, and I think there's a lot of great opportunities for collaborations there. I was also just on Twitter yesterday looking at the Funding the Commons talk about Hypercerts in Taipei as well. So really interesting.
Nice.
And yeah, I appreciate you doing that, as well as the sharing this this overview too. I think that's a big contribution too. It's helped me several times, just as I was trying to remember what somebody said. I was able to ask a question based on that. So yeah, I appreciate that very much. And
Thank you.
You're very welcome. I see a thumbs up from Jason, and it looks like Nuno got lost internet connection. We still don't have consensus on BitBeckers, so I don't know, BitBeckers, if you want to switch your vote to yourself. It seems like most people have voiced support for you, or unless Nuno could change votes, but Nuno's not currently here anymore, so.
He's still in Telegram.
Yeah, he's still on Telegram. I imagine he'll be joining back shortly too. He said his PC connection dropped, still here to vote. Okay.
Yep.
For the unblocking, I'll self-vote.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay. And then who should we rank as level 3 now? And we have a split consensus here. There's 3 votes for Jason and 2 votes for Nuno. It was BitBeckers, Jason, and Nuno who voted for Jason, and me and Tadas who voted, or me and Tadas who voted for Nuno, and everybody else voted for Jason. I see Nuno is joining back too, so I suppose we can hear from Nuno. Would you like to share their reasoning either way?
Of course, I have a joke ready. I voted for myself because Nuno's not here to defend himself.
There you go. Taking advantage of
And because
nice.
And because true to the game theory, we're supposed to think that this outcome matters a tremendous amount. We're not supposed, it does matter a tremendous amount. Respect is perhaps the most important thing there is, but we're also supposed to think of it like it makes a big difference for our whole community somehow. That it makes a big difference for our project in a big way, right away, kind of thing. And it's like the difference between third and second, or first and second, or something like that actually is difference. So although I respect what Nuno is doing, I feel as though I'm doing the same thing approximately. Right. So I'd advocate for myself in a legitimate way.
I found it, since we're sharing, I found it really difficult to make this decision, because on the one hand, I really appreciate people working on education, and it also sounds like you're really focusing on a very technical aspect of education, because it's not like, oh, have you seen this sexy ape? But it's more like, oh, have you thought about cryptography? And usually that's a tough pill to swallow for some people. But I also appreciate, because I also heard Nuno's page last week where I said, oh, I'm thinking about Chile Banks and maybe I want to do this. And now he's talking with Hats and he's talking with Tadas, and he's moving towards establishing something for a community. But then pointing back to your point about actually the deliverable, this is still the intent. So this kind of made you in the equal level for me. So I found it really difficult.
Okay.
Yeah. I agree with Jason. We should not be afraid to self-vote. And yeah, I switched my vote to Jason. For me, it's also, I don't know, similar size of contributions from Nuno and Jason. but yeah, since more people voted on Jason, I just switched.
Okay, sounds good. Well, it looks like we have consensus then, and Nuno's back. Nuno, welcome back. Thanks for joining again.
Yeah, sorry guys, internet connection drop.
No problem. We were just reaching consensus on level 3. It looks like Jason has consensus now. I voted for Nuno because I think that is I checked out the Chile website. I think that is one unique thing that Nuno's doing. That's, well, I mean, it seems like a big thing. It's really exciting working with the tools and combined with hats and everything like that. But I'm also happy to support Jason too. So I suppose, Nuno, if you want to advocate for yourself a bit here too, I'd also be happy to stick with voting for you, and maybe you could sway people's minds, because I'm happy to go either way, really. But I'm glad.
No. I just hope in a couple of weeks or months, the work we are building here together moves a little bit further, and then you'll give me more respect for because so far I've only been pitching. As you said, it's more about delivering than pitching. So I believe as soon as I start onboarding this Web3 community to the respect game and perhaps to the optimism ecosystem as well, I think you guys will give me the deserved respect. That's all. Thank you.
Absolutely. I very much look forward to giving you lots of respect for that, and still giving you lots of respect now too. But I'm really excited about all the work in progress you're doing, and looking forward to collaborating more with you. So we have consensus now, and Tadas just shared the results of the consensus in Factograms. You can hit here where it says results going to be submitted here, and now submit that to the OP mainnet. And please do remember to do that. If you can take care of it now, that'd be much appreciated, because we need to have 66% of us, at least 4 to 5 of us, submit that on chain for us to have the consensus on chain and to receive the soulbound respect.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I look forward to bringing it back to the main room and in the conclusion of the whole thing, coming back together, make sure that confirm online, right, on the chain. And I don't think I'm going to stay on for, I might have to drop off early, right? The next thing beckons, but this has been a good breakout room. It's been a good session. Very encouraged with all the progress, for real.
It sounds good. Absolutely. I feel the same. I really appreciate you being here, Jason, and all the great work you're doing for Optimism and in general. And yeah, the past couple of weeks we were doing longer meetings because we had the retro pitches, but now it's only an hour-long meeting too. So perhaps we can stick around a bit longer for anybody who wants to in the community room, but we can go back to the community room now. And I just see that the other group just finished too. So I suppose I'll hit the button to send us back to the community room. And thanks everybody so much for the awesome.
Guys, where is the Go Optimistics shout out?
Go Optimistics.
Next
Yes.
room.
So thank you. Go Optimism, go Optimism Fractal. But we're also still going to be here in the community room too. So we're still going to be together, and we could do more celebrations and good conversations when we get back too. So, but I appreciate you bringing the enthusiasm, and remembering it, and especially the Optimistics too. I appreciate that very much. Okay, cool. So I'll head back to the breakout room. I'll close the breakout rooms now. We can all head back there and see you there shortly. Thanks all.
Thank you. Bye.
Go Optimistics.
Go.
Oh.
Go Optimistics and Optimism, and go everybody here. Thanks all.
Bye.
Hello. Welcome back, everybody, from room 2 and room 1. Hope everybody had a great time.
My sound is totally fucked.
Okay. Hope you can get that sound fixed, Hodlon. We're able to hear you well.
Maybe.
I'm not sure if you know we can hear you right now. Totally fine, Hodlon, so we can hear you saying maybe. Also, I see BitBeckers asked if the OPF is the soulbound token. See, that's correct. That is the non-transferable token that everybody who reached consensus receives and their Optimism accounts for participating in events.
I have a very practical, realistic question. I'm going to do a key rotation soon. What happens to my OPF?
I don't know. Tadas, you know that?
What do you mean by key rotation?
I'm switching addresses.
Do you have, so you have like ENS name and you're switching?
No, like actual account address, right?
Yes.
So okay, so Tadas, would we have to, would the OP, would Optimistics or like this group in some way have to use the process to re-grant soulbound tokens to say we're gonna take BitBeckers' current address like of soulbound tokens and like burn them, or he's gonna say that they're burned and then we mint them that same amount on the new address?
Yeah, that would probably be the only way right now. It's a bit cumbersome for a group to do that, but so we need to think of better ways. I'm used to accounts on other blockchains where people usually don't rotate their accounts. So maybe.
Well, it looks like the Optimism Fractal token is a proxy contract, so I don't know if they want to work some kind of magic for you. Anything is possible with a proxy contract, so you're not bound by immutability.
Well, yes, and yeah. Up for debate, but let's say for this specific function, if you want to be able to transfer them, you should be able to transfer them. Yes, so you can add it as an update. I'm really honest. I'm not saying boo, this is bad. The thing is that I generally am going to do this really soon, and everywhere where I say, hey, I'm going to switch addresses, something gets stuck. But the reason why you want to do this, just because I'm not that deep into privacy, that is my religion. But you can think about account abstraction, you can think about wanting to move to safe, you basically have an account that has been tainted or hacked. These are all very valid reasons to just say, I want to move my holdings somewhere else. And this is why one of the design flaws of SBTs, and why they also design these standards that you have, for instance, like double signing to still transfer an SBT between the contract owner and the SBT holder. This was my tech rant. Thank you for listening.
Yes. Yeah.
Good tech rant.
So the idea of respect is that community should be in full control of respected distribute. So yeah, we have a method to burn and to redistribute respect. But yeah, we need to think of ways how the consensus process that governs those decisions. And yeah, currently it would be just Optimistics team would have to reach consensus on this, but then after bootstrap phase, it would have to be top 6 contributors over last 12 weeks. At least that's how the current plan is.
Okay, this kind of dovetails into the question that I have, or that I had a little bit about seasons. Like, are we going to wrap up after this 8 or 9 sessions, like wrap up and say this is season 1 and do like a reflection, retrospective, and then like move forward with a season 2? Or is the plan kind of just to keep going and go 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and just kind of, you know, keep going that way? Or like, what is the intention? What was the intention setting out? Kind of where is the next step?
That is a good question, Hodlon. Thank you for asking, and also thanks BitBeckers for the technical exploration, and Alex and Tadas. So all that's very helpful too. So thanks for all the inspiration and great thoughts into Optimism Fractal. So I suppose first I'll just respond to Hodlon's question about the seasons. I don't know what's best yet. We've been thinking about that a lot, and I'm thinking that a seasonal structure is best for optimism, and we just have to figure out the best way to design that. I was thinking about, I mentioned before that we're planning, we discussed with the Optimistics team that the next week's meeting we'll have an Optimism Fractal meeting, but then in 2 weeks it's on Christmas Day, and in 3 weeks it's on New Year's Day. So we figured it's natural to take 2 weeks off from Optimism Fractal during those dates and give everybody, just the holidays with friends and family and stuff like that, and then come back and then we're thinking maybe come back with season 2, or maybe we'll have a couple more weeks of season 1. It's still not defined though yet, and I'd be happy to hear if you have any ideas about the best way to do it. But I think there's a lot of benefits to doing seasons, so we can have a seasonal recap, and we could align it with like some sort of goal that the community is rallying around and stuff like that. That's something we've been discussing very much. Also, just a quick note too, logistically too. So normally we just go for these meetings for an hour. In previous weeks, it was kind of hectic because we were doing the retro pitches for the past 3 weeks, but now it's just the Optimism Fractal and Respect game. So at any point, if anybody has to get going, then feel free. We can also wrap up the recording at any point too, but it seems like everybody's pretty inspired, and I'm curious to hear from Alex about how your first event was, and this all discussion is great too, so I'm happy to stick around for longer and keep discussing that. So I see Nuno has his hands up, so I suppose I'll pass it over.
I just want to add some noise to the conversation because I heard something about burning soulbound tokens and letting the community decide. I was just wondering, what's your perspective on making a limit on the amount of respect, or resetting the scores of respect? Or, I mean, we are earning respect, but can you lose respect? Just want to know your opinions, and I hope I'm not adding too much noise to the conversation. And my worry is just that to make this not similar, as a lot different from money, to make respect as different from money as possible. I'm just wondering what you guys think.
Thanks.
Yeah, so
go ahead, Tadas.
yeah, thanks.
And also welcome back, Marc, too.
Yeah, thanks for the question. So currently I haven't thought much about capping respect, although there is one idea I have about where capping respect might be useful. That idea is about how respect trees Dan knows about them, but currently I don't see strong reason to cap respect, but I'm open to suggestions, like if there is a need to do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by capping, if you mean like you can only earn a certain amount. As far as losing respect, I see BitBeckers say usually you can lose it faster than you can earn it, wink face. But the idea of respect is that it's an opinion, basically. So people can change their opinion, and a community can change their opinion. So for example, I don't know, like I don't think it would happen with like our group. There's a bunch of great people, but say if it grows like, many people, and then somebody does something that the community doesn't like, then the community has the right to be able to like reduce that person's respect in the eyes of the community if they want to. So that's one of the reasons why it's like it's a flexible contract where the community can change that, and that would come down to the consensus process probably. Like Tadas was talking before about the idea that perhaps for the next season of Optimism Fractal, and after the first 12 weeks, then we can have it where the people with the top 6, the people with or rather the top 6 most respected members, perhaps just over the past few months or something like that, will be on the council basically, and they can make those kinds of decisions about whether they would issue somebody's respect to a different account if they had to change their account, or if somebody did something that the community didn't like, if they wanted to reduce that respect or anything like that. Really, it just kind of provides like a blank canvas of all the different things that can happen using that consensus process that's derived from the respect game and from the weekly fractal meetings.
Exactly. I was look forward to what you guys discuss.
So and that kind of comes back to the conversation that BitBeckers brought up, and we were talking about moving soulbound tokens and like coming to consensus to do that. Like that sounds the council that you're talking about sounds like, or I guess it's Optimistics right now, but like whatever that kind of like quote unquote governing body, or like the meta governance council or whatever it is, would be the ones to like make those like hard on chain decisions or choices, or come to consensus to do that. Is that right? Instead of put out the vote to who, like this is people with the respect tokens that have been coming week over week. Like, I'm just curious, kind of. Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yep, that's right, I think. I mean, we already did it to some extent already, and I think week 5 or week 6, week 5, we took a while to reach consensus, and we only had a few of them on chain. And so we used that consensus process just with the Optimistics team, 3 out of 4 of us, to decide to distribute the tokens already. So that was doing it in a way where we kind of like overrode the intended rules of the game, but still used the consensus process to do it. And then just in the future, we'll have a council which is derived from the community members, and then it's up to them at that point if they want to do that same thing, like to issue the respect according to the weekly consensus that wasn't published in time, or if one person needed to change their account or whatever other kinds of changes of respect distribution. I think in all cases that would come down to the council or whatever other consensus process that council might determine in the future.
I like how this kind of creates a natural barrier of permeability in the community, right? That can kind of change according to the community. I'm just kind of thinking out loud as I'm thinking of this, right? Because if we say like, okay, the top 12 respect token holders has the ability to vote to, move SBTs or to distribute, respect tokens that didn't make it through the last time, then that's kind of creating kind of the community that has the power to vote. And then that can be changed at any time as well. Anyway, I'm just thinking off of the top of my head around the use of the respect tokens.
Yeah, thanks for sharing all the inspiring thoughts, Hodlon. It reminds me a bit of your article about living organisms and DAOs. But yeah, I agree. There's the idea that like it makes it so that people who are making decisions, they have to participate in a lot of the meetings to be able to make those decisions, and then from there, there's a lot of flexibility that emerges. See your Rosemary sharing the heart. Thanks, Rosemary. I also see there was some Tadas put there's only 3 submissions from room 2 on chain, and 1 more is needed, and then Rosemary wrote that Marc has submitted. Thanks for following up, Tadas. So I just want to confirm, Tadas, if we've reached consensus on chain, if we have 66% from both rooms, and if not, then please let us know. And then also welcome back, Zal, too. Appreciate you joining and hope that you're having a great day. And then I'm curious, this is also all a great discussion. So if Hodlon or BitBeckers or Nuno, if anyone wants to raise their hand and share more on this thought, or more general questions or anything like that, then feel free. I'd also be curious particularly about Marc and Alex, being that it's your first time joining Optimum Fractal. If you have any thoughts you want to share, hopefully you enjoyed your experience. But yeah, I'd love to hear what you thought. If you have any feedback for or room for improvement or confusion or anything else you enjoyed or would like to see from the process.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here and participating. So it's nice to like get to know the community more, and I don't really have that much feedback because I don't like have a reference point, but I guess next time I show up, I'll have like a reference on like how I think they are. But I think it's good that like people can just, introduce themselves and get to know each other. And it's good to provide a space for that because I feel like there's not that many spaces for like people who are like building to like get to know each other. Because like a lot of the IRL meetups are not very builder focused. And so it's like hard to necessarily know how to connect with other builders because you got a lot of like not builders that go to these events, and it's but I'll let Marc take the baton on his feedback.
Yeah, no, I thought this was awesome. I mean, again, I just came in expecting this to be kind of like a community call that I'm more listening to. And it's great to see the participation. I mean, Fractal team, I was saying in our other call, it's really impressive of all of the design and content that you guys have. I think this can go far, and the organization that you guys have as well is like very rare, right? I mean, we've participated in several DAOs, and I really give OP a huge salute for having such just good organization. It seems like we finally found a digital community that's cool but also somewhat professional, and that's needed. So I think you guys are doing a really great job. That's my feedback. And next time, like Alex, I'll be more prepared to kind of do it again. And I love that it's on chain as well. It's awesome.
Super cool. Thanks so much, Marc and Alex, for the great feedback. I there's a lot I can say about that, but I'm really glad that you both enjoyed it, and look forward to collaborating and learning more about both of you. I see Tadas given the praise emoji, as well as Rosemary gave a heart and Hodlon gave some claps too. So yeah, I see Jason put the hands up too, so I'll pass it over to Jason in a moment. Perhaps afterwards, if Alex or Marc, I know you introduced yourself a little bit before we start recording, and I imagine during your breakout room too, but if you wanted to briefly introduce yourself with the rest of everybody who's listening or watching this recording, then feel free. But first, I suppose I'll pass on to Jason. Jason, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I was just agreeing that it's nice to see that there's a breakthrough of something that is still cool, that it got professional, but it didn't lose its soul. Like it's a nice balance, and that I believe very much in the attention economy, and that I'd like to try to describe like hosting a meetup. My experience is the same thing, that you were like the search for a community, the search for the meetup that has that balance and everything, and that like check out our group, check out Crypt Oasis, right? It's developer focused. We tend to attract the advanced level of developer and explore what's possible and work on things. And we've got a recovery effort underway that is a fair size that we're taking a professional approach to. It's very uphill. It's very uphill. But I think the breakthrough, I'd like to describe the popularity of Judge Judy, if I may, for a moment. Is everybody familiar with the television sensation of Judge Judy?
Yeah.
I've heard of her, yeah. I've seen a couple
times. Very familiar.
Okay, those who know understand that that is the most popular daytime television show in American history. And it's so simple, right? If you look at American television and the attention economy and the entertainment media landscape, you will know that reality TV is more than 2/3 of it at this point. And that by definition, reality TV is unscripted. It is a game theory scenario. It is a structured condition for a group of people just to be themselves, pretty much. And I would categorize Judge Judy as a version of reality TV. But the difference is, and this is where I'd like to go with it, is that the worst area of reality TV pits people in an unsolvable conflict dilemma. And it's an evergreen conflict, right? It's just they intentionally design volatile personalities with volatile circumstances to create drama and conflict in reality TV, except for those exceptions that are actually more successful. The ones that are more like Judge Judy, where the reality TV creates a scenario where people enact justice through civil means. And, I've come to believe that this is something that people need as a form of like spiritual nourishment, as a form of like emotional nourishment, as a form of mental health reality. They need to experience and bear witness to human civility, succeeding at realizing justice. It is like opium, right, for the mind, and it will be very popular, right? So I think that with what this team can do, production quality wise, we can make a reality TV program of ourselves with fractally governance of people. I think it's going to go like wildfire, right, if we play the card correctly. So I just wanted to share that, and I want to thank you guys for getting us a head start and for making that kind of a thought possible.
I mean, guess what? All of these are recorded and put online, so you are a part of the reality show.
Yeah, that's got to be the deepest Judge Judy thesis I've ever heard, but I love it. Me and my grandma are all too familiar.
Awesome. Well, okay, thank you for the inspiring. You want to go ahead and add more, Jason, there? I thought about it a lot as a kind of a game show. It's an interactive game show that everybody can join. And it's also like very pro-social too. So for anybody who's not familiar, we've been doing this. I appreciate all the kind words saying that the process is working great and how you like all the organization like that. And we've been refining this for the past over 2 years now or so. There's several other communities that started with this process. At first, we didn't call it a respect game. There's an organization called Fractally, which Jason mentioned a couple times, where we had something called a Genesis Fractal, where we met with like 40 people per week on average, and we did it with a bunch of great builders. And then we've been pioneering another community called Eden Fractal, and there's many other communities who have been pioneering this too. So I'm stoked to see everybody here who's enjoying it so much. I've been seeing all the beautiful things and then the great things with it, and people bringing up new ideas I've never thought of, and reminding me of amazing parts of it too. So I'm really glad that everybody's enjoying it. Also, one of them, Gudasol too. Gudasol, thanks for joining. Gudasol hosts a weekly meetup called Aquarius, or called Aqueduct rather, where he's also experimented with the Respect game too. So thanks for joining, Gudasol. Nice to see you. And then also Jason too. You mentioned I think you invited everybody to join Crypto Oasis too. So if anyone wanted to share some links to other events that you host, and if anybody else is interested in joining each other's events, that's cool. So Jason, I know you shared cryptoasis.net, and Gudasol's got mu.ma/aqueduct. So feel free to share. And encourage people to check out each other's events. Lots of really amazing community members here. Yeah, and lots of great builders too. I saw that Alex had a bird on his shoulder, which I was a little bit curious about too. And then also Marc had asked, can everyone share their Twitters? Want to follow up? So people are sharing their Twitters in the chat too. So encourage you to follow or just check it out. I'm looking forward to following everybody who I haven't yet seen yet. But thanks for Marc for taking that initiative. And then yeah, also we have a Discord too. So if anyone wants to follow up with questions or comments there and share their Twitter or anything else they're working on the Discord too, then I'll share that in the chat as well.
Yeah, this is my bird Wally. While Jason was speaking, he was getting a bit rowdy in his cage. He wanted to get some freedom for today, so I had to take a moment to let him out. So I guess he's trying to say hi, or he doesn't even know we're on Zoom, but
cool.
That's not.
Awesome. Well, thanks for it's nice to meet you, Wally. And I hope that Wally's enjoying the freedom. He looks pretty cool, and he goes with your background too. So hopefully,
Yeah. Yeah,
enjoying.
he's a conure. He's like about 5 years old now. They develop their vocal cords a little bit slowly, so he's trying to like piece together his first words still, but he's like getting there.
So he's gonna be able to say stuff like parrots do.
Eventually, yeah. He's trying to say his name, Wally, or at
Okay.
least that's what it like sounds like. He's making like speeches like Wally. Yeah. Maybe he'll say something to the mic. I think he doesn't like the mic.
All right, maybe he's a bit shy, but it sounds like he's saying it in a pretty cool way, though. So maybe we'll hear Wally speak in future times at Optimism Fractal. For anybody who's not familiar, I think everybody knows here, but Optimism Fractal happens every Monday at 17 UTC, or at least that's our norm it goes. But we'll be doing it next week, and then, like we said, probably taking the 2-week break for the holidays. So hopefully we'll get to hear more from Wally there. And then, yeah, like I said before, we usually wrap it up every hour, but this conversation is really interesting, and I'm happy to keep going for however long everybody wants. But then also, one thing I mentioned before was Alex and Marc. I don't know if you want to introduce yourselves briefly, because some of the people probably don't know you here in the community, or if anybody else has any other questions or comments, or we can kind of play it by ear. If y'all think we should wrap it up now, then we can wrap it up. Does anybody have any thoughts you want to share?
Yeah, so I'm Alex. I'm the founder of EVM Finance. We're in public beta right now. We're releasing like our full production version, hopefully in Q1 next year. We're basically creating a new DeFi homepage, similar to what you see behind me. That's our original project, Quantify Crypto, and we're basically right now it processes mostly centralized exchange data, and we're basically taking our front end and putting DeFi data in it. And yeah, it's coming along pretty well. And I'd love to share an update when we get our main release going one day soon.
Right on, Alex. My name's Marc. I'm the CEO of Advantage Blockchain. We are a blockchain education, research, and investing organization. So we really try to help people, the world, businesses understand blockchain technology. And then we also, are pushing this concept of UEV, user-extractable value, right? That's, helping people make value on chain, whether that be investing, whether that be participating, being active, airdrops. I mean, there's an entire world of ways to make value on chain, as I'm sure you guys know. So teaching the world about that and, helping them access it globally. And bringing awareness to OP as well, the great ecosystem that we are all part of.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Marc, and thanks so much, Alex. That's really interesting. I hadn't heard of Advantage Blockchain before, and I followed you on Twitter. I'd added Advantage Block 1 and AdvantageBlockchain.com. So that sounds like a great idea about helping people extract user or helping people get user extractable value. And I love your alignment and enthusiasm for optimism as well. Regarding Alex's work with EVM Finance, Alex participated in the Retro Pitches game from 2 weeks ago as well. And if people want to learn more, that's at evm.finance, I think, is the link that you can learn more about your work, as well as you have another project that I don't remember the name off the top of my head right now, but if you want to share that. And then
It's
also
Quantify Crypto. If you don't
Quantify
mind, I'll
Crypto.
post the links.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And Rosemary shared the Optimism Fractal Discord too. So if anyone wants to share their work there too, perhaps we should start up like a little, like maybe another channel in the Optimism Fractal Discord at some point, like where people could just like share their work. I suppose just feel free to just share it in the general channel now. But if anybody has any ideas about like the best way to organize this in the future, like we said, we're like, it's quite a decentralized community. We started out with the Optimystics team, but we're very open, and like the intention is for it to be a very much a community-led endeavor. And now we have an awesome community of people here who are really like rallying around the ideas here. So feel free if anybody has any suggestions about like the best way to coordinate our Discord and meetings and other things, then we were happy to hear it. I see Hodlon said, yes, a show your stuff channel, hashtag show your project. So that sounds good. We could put that up there. I'm also going to put up, speaking of sharing our projects, I mentioned the retro pitches that Alex participated in. So we have the YouTube, optimismfractal.com/media, where everybody can watch the videos from each week. And then we have the Eden Creators and Optimistics YouTube channel. And I mentioned Alex participated and shared about EVM Finance, the retro pitches. So I shared a timestamp if you wanted to check out Alex's work, where he shared a 5-minute overview of EVM Finance. And thanks again, Alex, for participating in that. And then Marc, if you don't mind me asking, I'm curious how long you've been involved with Optimism, and then also how you discovered Optimism Fractal.
Yeah, absolutely. So, been in the crypto space since about, 2016, full time, just investing and educating myself and my network. Found out about Optimism. I mean, probably, I guess, before it airdropped. So have been, researching, I mean, following the developers, Vitalik, Carl, and a lot of those good guys, just, in terms of research, and then found out about you guys just on Twitter. I think I'm deep into the crypto space, but relatively new to Twitter, right? That's the one social media that I kind of never really got on. So we've only been on Twitter for maybe about a year, and have just filled our page with all different kinds of crypto people. So you guys came up through, I think, the different OP media outlets that are like, I feel like there's a ton of them, but they're small. But the community does a great job of decentralizing, and it's good content always stands out. So you guys really stood out to me. I mean, as far as like, I think you guys have really great design. You have a great brand, and you have a really awesome mission too. So I dove in and ended up on this call. I was saying I didn't even know that this was a fractal call, but yeah, I love what you guys are doing, and people are finding out.
Yes, and all credit for the design and stuff is for Dan and Rosemary. We are the ones producing all that art for videos and producing.
Yeah, the art is incredible that is being made here. So good job, Rosemary, on that.
Thanks. Good job, AI, too.
It shows I was muted. Thank you very much to Tadas and Alex and Marc, and thank you, Rosemary, too. There's a lot more. We use AI for a tool, but there's also lots of work that that Rosemary does, and I work on too to make that. So we're really glad you appreciate that, as well as on huge thanks to Tadas for so much help with the design of Optimism Fractal as well, about how we do these. And yeah, really appreciate all the kind words, Marc, and very excited to learn more about your work with Advantage blockchain too. So thanks so much for joining and sharing. We have lots of hearts and claps and everything all around too. So really great to see all the enthusiasm. I see BitBecker said, yeah, support cap for the meeting, good dinner. Thanks for joining. Looking forward to next week. And Rosemary also said, amazing feedback and meeting. Thanks all. I'm going to have to go soon. I suppose we should probably wrap it up soon too. Rosemary also created the Show Your Project channel in Discord too. And maybe I'll just copy and paste that up again too. So everybody can, I encourage everybody to join, and feel free to share any thoughts throughout the week. We're happy to help. I think we mentioned before, but the tools we build for hosting these meetings are all open source. So if anybody has a meeting or a community that they want to host these meetings with, then We're still working on getting like proper documentation, all that stuff like that. But this is open source software on the OP mainnet that we can use, and we're very happy to help however we can. We host these meetings every Monday at 17 UTC, I said, and it's really cool to see everybody so excited for next week too. So I'm stoked for next week as well. And then also one note too on just Tadas's comment, or not Tadas's comment, on Hodlon's comment previously about like future seasons. Something that is, and so this season so far, we've been, other than the retro pitch, we've been trying to just keep like a short, simple meeting for an hour. And today we just had a great like kind of open discussion in general. In the other Fractal meetings we host, such as Eden Fractal, we host these every Wednesday at 17 UTC. Everybody's welcome to join there. We've been pioneering a lot of these respect game and fractal processes there. We've experimented with another thing called that we call agendas, like community agendas. And the idea there is that after the respect game, if we do another half hour or however long the meeting is that we want to go on, then people could vote for like their favorite topics to discuss. So that's an option. Like people could vote with their respect points basically that they earn. So that's something that it's something we have to decide or do right now. But just if we want to start brainstorming for how it's going to work in future seasons, then that's an option. We already have like some branding for agendas, and it works quite well with the respect points. It's another way to use respect points where, for example, if somebody has a topic that they really want to discuss that week, then they could put it up on something like Snapshot, or I know Nuno was looking into Snapshot. So that's something that we could perhaps explore if we want to expand the meeting size to have more time for structured conversations in a specific topic or anything like that. But yeah, just figured to throw that out there. Otherwise, I'm happy to stick around if people have more questions or comments, but I suppose we've been here for an hour and a half, so we should probably wrap it up soon. Haven't heard from Nuno or Zal. Haven't heard from Zal at all today. So if anybody else wants to share anything before we wrap it up, then be happy to hear anybody else's thoughts, so we can wrap it up whenever. What does everybody think? I see Nuno giving a wave and a thumbs up. Sounds good, Nuno. Thanks so much for all your great work.
I just want to say I like the idea of providing more space and time for discussing more deeper other topics, kind of like we've been doing now. Because you know the hour is the game, the respect game, but I feel like there's kind of other things bubbling up underneath and around it. So I would be interested in participating in further other conversations.
Cool. Sounds great. Well, thanks very much for the feedback, Hodlon. And yeah, just on that point, I see Gudasol and Jason raised their hands, so I'll pass it over to them in a moment. But just while I had that in my head, just for a bit of context, we did like the previous meetings that we did, I mentioned Eden Fractal a couple times. Those meetings used to go on for like sometimes up to 3 hours long because people were so like enthusiastic about discussions. And at some point we were like, well, we should probably have it shorter a bit. So that's one of the reasons why we did it for an hour right now, because there's so much discussion and we want to make sure we're not taking up people's time too much. But for sure we can arrange it where we add another half hour, whatever it is, and we can have structure. Also an hour that can work too. But I really appreciate your feedback on there, and looking forward to discussing more of that. And also see Zala said, love the ideas of making OP Fractal in the seasons, exclamation point, and super happy to be here and part of something great. Excited to chat in Discord. Sounds great. Thank you so much, Sal. Really appreciate your feedback, putting fire on that. And Rosemary shared the Show Your Project channel in the Discord too. So super cool, and I'm glad for the enthusiasm. I'll pass it over to Gudasol, and then I think Jason had his hands up after that. Gudasol, it's on your mind, looking cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I got the rose headband on today. So yeah, I kind of joined late. Glad to hear a little bit of the discussion. As I mentioned in the chat, we have Aquadac, which Dan and Rosemary are a part of. It is a personal development collective, and we just reopened registration. We just kind of ended the 3rd season, so we only have registration for a few weeks. And I posted the link. You can just sign up for the Luma meeting announcements, and I'm working on more information for that as well. And great to be here with y'all, and I'll see you guys next week.
All right, sounds great. Thank you very much, Gudasol, for sharing. And yeah, I've really enjoyed. I've been joining the Aquadac meetings he's been hosting for the past 6 months. They're a great opportunity for people to meet more builders in the ecosystem, as well as some really talented creators. And really appreciate how you're hosting them. We're exploring a lot of really exciting topics. If you want to share, I don't know where you shared the link yet. If you want to share it again in the Zoom chat, I think that's lou.musk/Aquadac, and also have an article, edencreators.com/Aquadac as well, you can check out. Thanks. And then also, Gudasol, I don't know if you joined the Discord, but if you want, we now have a Show Your Projects channel on the Discord too. So if you'd like to share Aquadac in Optimism Fractal Discord too, if you scroll up a little bit, then I have it there, and that'd be awesome. Jason, would you like to share something?
Well, it was just a recollection back to the earlier points, one of the first comments, right, in this second room, in the big room, in that, should there be a limit on respect? Should there be, how should we treat that aspect of potentially monetizing respect? In that, I think that there's a difference, and that we get to explore that. I couldn't imagine a better use of our time and attention. I couldn't imagine a greater privilege than to choose between the best of all benefits, sort of, and like the most harmonious way, the best balance, the most sustainable way to monetize respect. As we know, people do in reality. It's how you get promoted, or it's how you get the contract, or it's how you, whatever you do, right? You make the sale. You can't actually persuade anybody. You can't actually make a sale. You can't actually succeed without respect, right? But so we give acknowledgement, and that the distance that carries a person forward is something that we get to explore together. We have so many wonderful methodologies to start with that. So it was like you were saying, what's your thought? Where you're leaving off on? It's like, I've had to go to the next thing since before we started, but this is a good group, and these kinds of ideas only occur with such conversations. So I appreciate you guys.
Excellent. I really appreciate that too, Jason. That's very inspiring, and I agree. There's some great points that Alex made too about the collaboration that comes from these events too, and how it can spark new ideas. And I totally agree. Respect is very fundamental and primitive. And then it reminded me of what Nuno was saying too about HATS protocol. I think there's lots of things we can do with like using the respect on chain to enable different things like in Discord and Charmverse and stuff like that. But yeah, really inspiring thoughts, and thank you very much, Jason. I see some people joined Discord, so thanks so much for joining, everyone. And if anybody, feel free to share whatever in the Discord if you have questions or comments. I suppose I don't know if anybody else had any other thoughts. We can wrap it up and maybe go with a 3, 2, 1, go optimism whenever everybody's ready. I don't know if Nuno or Alex or Hodlon or Zal or Kudasol or Jason have any last thoughts. Then feel free to share. Here's a chance, or we can wrap it up whenever.
I'll just, maybe I would like to say that I'm a little bit undecided. What's the most important primitive of a DAO? Is it voting, or is it the respect game? For me, both are equally important. So this is how I see. And so this game needs to be replicated in every single DAO that exists. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I think it's, I mean, that's a pretty big word. There's a lot of DAOs out there, and I think that would be amazing if all the DAOs use respect game. I think that people would cooperate a lot better. And regarding your question about voting or respect game, it's like, well, how do you vote? Is it one person, one vote, or is it voting with some token? And then if so, then how are those tokens created? And in my opinion, it's like the respect game provides a perfect way that enables people to vote, because people can earn their respect or earn their votes by coming to the events. So that's the way you can do it. Also, another thing we do too in Eden Fractal is we have a system where people kind of like delegates each week too. So the delegates can be the people who vote, as opposed to the people who have the respect for some purposes. So that's another option too. But yeah, I think basically a respect game works really well with voting, because it helps voting. Because if you just have one person, one vote, then that can devolve and not scale up. But the respect game can enable fractal communities to scale up, and people get more votes for helping more and so forth. But yeah, I really, really appreciate your enthusiasm, Nuno, and I'm very much looking forward to helping spread the respect game with you, and stoked to see what you're doing with the Chile's community too. All right, well, I suppose we can wrap it up now. It looks like nobody's jumping in, so with that, thanks so much, Alex, for joining. Thanks so much, Nuno. I see you're smiling, have a good time. If anyone want to jump in, then feel free, but otherwise I'm ready to wrap it up. Is everybody ready to wrap it up? Sound good?
Yep, let's wrap it up and give a go optimism.
Okay, sounds good. I'll count down 3, 2, 1, and we'll go optimism. Thanks everybody so much for the great meeting. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll be here on next Monday at 17 UTC. Check it out at lu.mosh, Optimism Fractal, and optimismfractal.com. Really appreciate everyone for the amazing meeting, and wish you a wonderful week. And with that, 3, 2, 1,
Go
Optimism!
All right. Thanks everybody. See you next time.
See you guys.
Peace,
See you
everyone.
next time.